You may have tons of work and you're probably wondering three things. Should I create a waiting list and how long should it actually be? Should I raise my prices or should I hire more staff? Well, on this episode, we're going to talk about what you need to do. Now, if you're new to this show is all about going over strategies and providing you the resource I wish I had when I was running my agency. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you never miss out on a new episode. What's up everybody, Jason Swenk here, and I want to talk to you about how long a waiting list should actually be, or when should you increase your pricing, or when should you actually hire more staff when you're too busy and you just got all this work coming to you. A couple of weeks ago I did an episode on how to create a waiting list of people lining down the street in order to work with you, and I'll link it up right up here. But I had a lot of follow-up questions, so I wanted to answer these questions. Well, first off is when you start getting a lot of people coming to you, you need to treat yourself as a stock. The more in demand you are, the more you should increase your pricing. But you have to really look at kind of the value that you're actually delivering to people as well to make sure that it matches up, or at least what you're charging matches up with their expectations. So if a huge company comes to you and you pitch your normal rate, they may laugh at you and they may be like, you don't understand me, even though they don't realize that your expenses are not as much as the really big agencies. So you have to figure out what are their expectations, but also treat yourself as a stock. So what we would always do is we would say, all right, when we get the next 5 clients, we're going to be at this price. And then the 6th client, we're going to look at raising the price by 20%, 30%, whatever it is. Make sure the value's there, as well as make sure the expectation of that prospect is there as well. And so we always start there first about raising the price. The second part is looking at bringing on staff. So if you're primarily doing the work, you should be looking at bringing on staff immediately. But if you already have staff doing it and they're at full capacity and you've already raised your price, the next level is to bring on more staff in order to do that, because you've already increased your price, so you're going to protect your profitability. And then after you do that, or even maybe before you take on more staff, and this is kind of an option, you can create a waiting list. And the waiting list is not just, hey, I'll call you, when we free up. It's literally taking a deposit and keeping their spot and saying, look, I may have an opening in the next week or so. Like currently, we have a waiting list to work with me privately. There's only so much time that I want to devote to it, and so many clients that I can help at one time. So we have a waiting list. So if I and the prospect agree that we want to work together, I'll say, great, I don't have a spot open right now. I may have a spot open in the next couple weeks or next couple months. If you want me to hold your spot in line, which your spot number 2, it's X to hold that spot. And then when we work together, that credits to working with them. And so you do that, and it also creates this demand to be like, and also kind of this social proof, be like, oh man, all these people are working with this one agency or this one business. They must know their stuff. They must be good. I need this. Like in the video that I did a couple weeks ago, I talked about Tony Robbins has a 7-year waiting list, to pay him $1 million. It's just crazy. Like I want to get to that level. All right. I want you to get to that level. But you have to just figure out what works for you. So think first about when you're busy, increase your pricing. And then the second option after you've already raised your pricing is you can create a waiting list. So then when you free up some resources, you can take them on, or you can bring on new staff, and then you can do a waiting list. But I think that just gives you some options. And it also just creates this more prestige for working with you. And it creates urgency, right? A lot of people use pricing to create urgency, saying, oh, if you sign up with me by the end of the year, I'll give you 5% discount. But what if you could go to them and say, If you sign up with me in the next week, I'll lock in our spot with you. If not, I may have to put you on a waiting list. That's going to create urgency, real urgency, in order to work with you. And yeah, I think you'll be a lot more successful. So I want you to do something for me as you look at raising your pricing and creating your waiting list. If you like this episode and you know an agency owner that could benefit from this episode, please share it with them and say, hey, check out Jason's video. He helps agency owners grow faster, and you may like his stuff. Check it out. If you do that, that would help me out greatly. I would be indebted to you, and it would just keep me pushing the envelope on more content creating. Now, if you're not yet subscribed, hit that little bell button so you never miss out. Hit that like button, comment below, and until next time, have a swank day.